Lucy, get back.
Wow, that was sweet. I was watching this thing. Oh yeah, this is a nice one.
Can you see the fish?
Oh, camera
on there.
Got your camera on?
Oh, it's on. I think we got a big fish on here, guys. This was a 4-inch fisheye watermelon with a worm off the downrigger, 4 feet deep. Keep going out. If I want you to turn, I'll tell you to turn.
What was your watermelon?
It's a good color, huh?
Oh, it's a
That's a
nice
big
fish.
fish.
This is a nice fish.
Know what you're doing, Kevin. There's a big fish we got on here. Yeah, this.
Is this where you want me to bring him in?
Yep. If he goes over here, we'll deal with that. It is. It is.
Man,
Still
it's
coming?
coming over a little to the right. Oh!
Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm Kel Kellogg and I am coming to you from a cold, windy, foggy Collins Lake, but I have a viewer question today. Billy Weiland down in Walnut Creek, California, he asked me, is it true that you will lose more fish when using a large dodger versus using a small dodger or a naked lure, a lure run without a dodger or without a flasher? And I gotta tell you, Billy, that is absolutely true. And the reason is pretty simple. If you look at the profile of those two blades, this one has a lot more surface area as opposed to the, this 6-inch fisheye, as opposed to this mini willow leaf. That surface area gives a fish something to fight against. If a fish is hooked back here, say he's hooked back, 30 inches or so on a threaded worm or a spoon or whatever it might be, if he head shakes, he's able to develop slack between the back of the blade and the offering in his mouth. And anytime he's developing slack, he has a greater chance of tossing the hook, and he has a better chance of developing slack when I'm using a big blade like that, as opposed to using no blade or using a small blade like that mini willow leaf, okay? That's number one. Number two, when the fish jumps, if they jump, well, that's even magnified more. This big blade is gonna be jerking around, it's gonna be forming slack, it's gonna be, tugging on the lure in the fish's mouth, and that really gives them the opportunity to throw the hook. So what can you do as an angler? Sometimes you gotta run the big blade or you're not gonna get hit. So what can you do to limit the amount of fish that you lose while using a big blade? One, do not stop moving that reel. Keep that line tight. I would rather have you reeling too fast with a moderately light drag than reeling too slow. Reel fast and keep the line tight. Watch the line as it enters the water and do everything in your power to keep that fish moving your way so he can't develop slack. If he suddenly turns your way and starts coming towards the boat and you're not on that reel, he's absolutely going to develop slack between himself and the back of that blade, and he may toss the hook, okay? So lots of reeling, keep the tip loaded, watch the line, and be doubly certain to keep that line tight and keep the boat or the kayak moving forward throughout the entire fight, okay? That's number one. Number two, you're watching the line. You start to see the line elevate and you think that trout or that king or whatever, he wants to come up and he wants to thrash on the surface. Don't allow him to do that. You're looking at some footage right now where a fish came up. We had a 4-inch dodger on the line. He thrashed, he got slack, he came off the line, okay? If the fish looks like he's gonna come up and thrash, get that rod tip down in the water and reel fast. If you get the rod tip down, okay, you pull the fish down beneath the surface where he doesn't have a chance to get that blade up into the air, where he's got a lot better chance of developing slack and throwing that hook. Learn that from tournament kokanee fishermen. When they got a kokanee that wants to jump, you know, they're out there, they're fishing for money, they're trying to catch a big kokanee. They'll get that rod all the way down in the water, almost to the reel, and reel that kokanee down below the surface, because kokanee love to get up, jump against a big blade like that, throw the hook, bye-bye winnings check when that happens. So those guys are hypersensitive to that. So number one, keep the line tight at all times. Stay on that reel and watch what's happening. If you think that fish is going to come up and thrash on the surface, get that rod tip under the water and crank that fish back down below the surface. The water surrounding the fish and surrounding the blade, that's your best friend. It makes it more difficult for a fish to throw the hook if he's underneath the water. The odds of him escaping go up exponentially if he gets out of the water and into the air. Anyway, I know that's going to help you land more and bigger fish, and you know, really pay attention to that if you got a big fish on, because big fish, they love to get away, they love to break your heart. But I know that's going to help you catch more and bigger fish in the future. I'm out of here for now. I'll catch you next time right here on YouTube. And if you're looking for gear, Dodgers rods, more, or if you want to book a trip with me out at Collins Lake, fishhuntshoot.com. That's the place to go. We will hook you up with what you need. Thanks a lot, guys.